Alrighty then. So, hi everyone. My name is Adam, and this is my analysis of the sort of major commodities, and I'm doing this on Monday, the 29th of March 2021. Where is the year going? So, having a look at gold, I'm going to start off with gold. We do have technically a downtrend in terms of price action. However, this is complicated by the fact that price is still within the moving averages, and therefore a bullish candle would represent a very high probability that gold is going to ultimately recover. It's got to break above 1800, and then it's likely it's going to head up towards 2000. Okay, so there's a bit of a contradiction here. We have a confirmed downtrend on the weekly. We have a confirmed downtrend on the daily. We technically have a confirmed downtrend on the monthly as well. So all of this really points to the fact that what is supposed to happen, technically speaking, is that gold should go from 1800 down to 1550. Okay, that's what it's supposed to do. So what I'm looking at here is I also understand that within the moving averages, if we finish up with a bullish candle, price will break above 1800, and we could see that return to the longer term bull trend. But there just isn't evidence to support that now, but a week from now that could be a very different story. So this is what I'm going to be looking for this week. I'm going to look to see if price breaks below 1680. If it does, I think the market is much more likely to go down to 1550. However, should this week immediately see a bullish candle, and especially if we close at any point above 1850, excuse me, I don't know where the hiccups came from. So should it close above 1800, even though we are still on a downtrend, the sentiment at that point becomes, from a monthly perspective, starts to look more bullish. And then all of a sudden, price starts to look as though it's going to head a little bit higher. So there's two choices that traders can make here. The traders can say, look, I'm going to stay out until I see the markets kind of decide what they want to do. Or I can short the market. But that's it. It's either short the market because you have a monthly, weekly, and daily downtrend and take that risk, or stay out of it. But certainly there is just not enough evidence, ladies and gentlemen, to support a buy in gold now. Okay. Silver. Solid double top there, which means a solid rejection at 30, coming back down into the moving averages. So this is one of the things that could happen. We could actually see that it starts to build up a pattern here. I've actually added in a new tool which is called Open Board, which is what I'm going to use to draw here. So I'm going to go ahead and just pick that and actually draw what's happening here. So we've got a flat level here, and then actually what could happen is we get a nice little bullish candle here, and so price actually goes from these lows, pulls back, produces a high, ultimately starts to prepare a bit of a breakout, where it starts to produce a series of higher lows. Okay, so that pencil drawing isn't looking that great, but we could see that actually being the case, and all of that would actually probably line up with gold, and so we would get a bullish breakout. So I'm just going to kind of mention that and just quickly clear that thing. But yes, that's what I'm looking for, is to see price produce potentially in this area a nice little bullish candle, start to head up, back up to test that level, and so we could get something like this, and ultimately it breaks out. So that's what I'm looking for, and really that level is going to be the key thing, but also what happens in the next month or two with April. Okay, but other than that, there is zero evidence as to what's going to happen with these. There isn't any indication, and I think also just to kind of swap this over, let's go back to this. Okay, we'll just quit that. And so go back to this and say basically that's what I'm looking at. But that would certainly support the idea of gold climbing to the upside. So I think that watching silver, in a way, looking for bullish candles here, looking to see price head up to these highs, would also give clues as to where gold is going to go. All right, so let's have a look at copper. Copper is looking pretty good, pretty stable over there. It's very overextended on the monthly. Absolutely does need a correction. But even on the weekly here, you can see it's kind of attempted to climb higher, coming back down to 4.0000. And actually, this is what I'm expecting. I mean, at most, I'd expect a correction back down towards the 3728. But otherwise, in this area, if it can consolidate, it can look to carry on higher. So I guess in terms of what's actually likely this week, very little, stay away from them, but what it's showing is the potential, there's a possible route to it recovering, all the metals becoming more bullish over the next 2 months. Platinum is certainly almost about to produce a higher low. That looks pretty bullish. If we can see price over 1200, it'll break that high, and so we'll get a higher low, and so that starts to look more and more bullish. It's had a nice little bit of a correction here. It's not ridiculously overextended. So this is what I'm going to be looking for on platinum, is to see it break the high, specifically the high of 1240.4. Okay, break that high, that would be a confirmed uptrend. It'll be an uptrend on the weekly, an uptrend on the daily. Okay, and we already have an uptrend on the monthly. So that would be confirmation. So it's interesting to me that gold is kind of a little bit wobbly. Silver is showing like it could turn around and head higher. Copper is showing how it could turn around and head higher. Platinum is showing how it could turn around and head higher. So there's that option on metals to do that. And of course, what I love, and I haven't done one of these videos in a while, I apologize, I've got other things going on, is we've broken through this kind of band of resistance on palladium. We've broken through it. We knew that was going to happen, but it's happened. We've broken through. So again, for me, I'd really like to see price come back to test 2,500 and then to continue on up. But the point I want you to take away from this is it's bullish. All right, so let's look, and again, that adds to the story that I was constructing earlier about that. So, okay, Brent crude, beautiful weekly candle. So far, if it finishes bullish, that's good. The monthly is a little bit overextended. So we have the monthly, which might need to take a bit of a break, but the weekly looks pretty good. Pretty happy to continue on higher. Forget about the daily for now, because if this is the case this week, we're going to see this actually head higher. Okay, let's look at Brent crude. But they're very, very similar. There's certainly that. Brent crude, look at that beautiful comeback correction down to $60. Look at it on the weekly, that beautiful retest and a nice little bullish candle. We've actually broken the high of that already. So we have a swing low on the weekly on Brent. Kind of what it does is it implies that it wants to hit for 74. Okay, so that looks good. That supports a bullish crude. We look at light crude as well. Also, bullish, come back, finding support on $60, a little bit of a bullish candle this week. We break the high of that, we get a swing low, and suddenly the weekly looks like it wants to head up towards 68 or towards 75. So at this point in time, it's a little bit early days, so we'll know more by Wednesday or Thursday, but crude oil's generally looking more bullish than bearish. Let's check out digital commodities, Bitcoin and Ethereum, obviously bullish. Do I think that Bitcoin is overvalued and in a bubble? Absolutely, but it could be in that state for 6 more months. But is it? Absolutely. Its true value is way closer to 20, 30,000, maybe even 40,000. If you think of Fibonacci retracements, it's ridiculous. Okay, so it is absolutely in a bubble, and I think that the bubble is probably connected to whatever other bubbles we have going on in the market at the moment. Stimulus, cash, so on and so forth. But on the weekly and daily, it's looking bullish. So in the immediate future, I'm confident Bitcoin's going to take a run at 60,000. Let's look at Ethereum. So how can I kind of say that, well, it's high risk or it's kind of in a bubble? Yes, it is. It means as a trader, I can take positions because I'm shorter term. I'm looking for a position for the next few days, maybe the next few weeks. But as an investor, for me personally, buying Bitcoin now is absolute insanity. And I'm not new to this game. I've been around long enough that I've seen every bubble, that every person was absolutely convinced at the peak of the bubble that there was never going to be a bubble, and it turned out to be a bubble. So I know we're at a bubble now, but the question is when it's going to burst. Okay, so for me, buying and investing now, for me, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot barge pole, I guess, unless I had a 10, 15-year plan. So I'm okay with it coming all the way back down to that. But again, Ethereum is also looking really nice and bullish. So Ethereum is going to take another run at 2,000. You can see that in the body language of the price action. It is incredibly enthusiastic at taking another test of 2,000. But is it overvalued? Yes, it is. Not as much as Bitcoin. So basically what's all that's happening now is that cryptos have finally become, I guess, appreciated as by the bigger institutions as a worthwhile venture. But for most of us who've been following Bitcoin from the start, we know why it's here to stay. All right, or cryptos, we know why they're here to stay. We need them. Society needs them. Okay, so to summarize, the most of these markets, the commodities are looking more bullish. The ones I've covered, the metals, the oils, and cryptos, they look principally bullish. Some of them are overvalued. They need a bigger correction, but again, that could happen in the next year. And for now, they are looking more bullish than bearish. But I'm interested to see how metals unfold, specifically gold. I would say that right now, bullishness lies in its future. And is confirmed when we get those previous lower highs broken. going back to gold before I kind of wrap up the video, yeah, if we start to break up towards 1800, that will confirm that even though we're in a downtrend, the monthly is starting to look more and more bullish, and therefore we'll see silver, platinum, palladium, and copper, for example, which are all hinting at bullishness. We'll start to see those start to come to fruition. Thank you very much.